The doctor has been a victim of multiple car thefts, and he's furious. Determined to take revenge, he decides that the next person who tries to steal his car will face the consequences. Today, we recap the story of the movie 4x4. While walking down a quiet street, Kiro spotted a car without an alarm, making it an easy target. Crime had become a serious issue in the neighborhood, forcing residents to take extra precautions for their safety. Despite the presence of numerous security cameras, Ciro remained undeterred. After breaking into the vehicle, he removed the stereo and stuffed it into his backpack. He also found a pair of sunglasses and decided to keep them. But before leaving, he left a gift for the wealthy owner of the car by soaking the back seat in the worst possible way. Hiding to avoid detection, Ciro waited for the street to empty again before attempting to exit. That's when his nightmare began. No matter how hard he tried, none of the 4 doors would open. He then turned to the trunk, but that too was locked. Desperate, he kicked the windows, but nothing happened. Searching the trunk, he found a tire lever and used it to smash the glass. Yet the window remained unbroken. In a last-ditch effort, he tore apart one of the door panels and reached inside to unlock the car, only to badly scratch his arm. Panic setting in, he tried ripping up the carpet to find an escape route, but there was none. With no other options left, Ciro pulled a gun from his backpack and fired at the windshield. What he didn't expect was for the bullet to ricochet back and hit him in the leg. Stunned and in agony, he used his shirt to stop the bleeding. Despite the gunshot, the glass remained intact. Just then, a woman passed by the car. Desperately, Kiro banged on the window to get her attention as she casually applied lipstick before walking away. It was clear. No one outside could hear or see what was happening inside the vehicle. Overwhelmed with fear, Ciro began to scream and repeatedly honk the horn, but no help came. As time passed, he became increasingly weak due to blood loss. His frustration turned to despair. He searched for anything inside the car that could help him escape, but everything he tried was useless. His breathing became heavier, his vision blurry. Then suddenly the car's screens turned on, revealing a live video feed. On the screen, he saw the doctor, the owner of the car, watching him with a sinister smile. It was a setup. The doctor had transformed his vehicle into an inescapable trap, designed specifically for thieves like Ciro. Realizing he had fallen into a carefully planned revenge scheme, Ciro's panic turned into pure terror. The doctor spoke through the car's speakers, mocking him for his failed escape attempts. Hours went by. Ciro was completely exhausted, his strength fading. The doctor, however, was in no rush. He wanted Kiro to suffer the same helplessness he once felt when his cars were stolen. As the night dragged on, Ciro's body went numb. His screams had turned to weak whispers. His fate was now sealed. The car, his own prison, was not letting him out, and no one was coming to save him. But nothing seems to help at this point. The criminal remains unaware of the identity of the person who has imprisoned him. All he knows is that he is in grave danger. His captor has done an impeccable job of ensuring that there is no possible escape. Gripped by fear, Ciro grabs his phone and desperately calls his wife. But before he can finish the call, the battery dies, leaving him completely isolated. With no other options, he drinks the last few sips of soda from a bottle he had saved earlier. His will to fight begins to fade. Exhausted, he resigns himself to waiting for help, slumping into the rear seat, surrounded by his own filth. His only companion in the car is a cricket, chirping in the silence of his confinement. 24 hours pass, and still nobody finds him. Dehydrated and weak, Ciro wakes up and, in desperation, licks the condensation running down the car window, trying to quench his thirst. In another futile attempt to escape, he smashes his hands against the door, but quickly realizes his efforts are pointless. Accepting his reality, he puts the stolen stereo back in place and turns on some music to lift his spirits, though the situation remains grim. Just then, an unexpected event occurs. The burglar receives a mysterious call on a device he hadn't noticed before. Hesitant, but desperate for answers, he chooses to answer. On the other end of the line is Dr. Enrique, his jailer. With a calm yet ominous tone, the doctor introduces himself. He reveals that he was born in Kiln 60 years ago and is a widower. More More importantly, he discloses that this is the 29th time his belongings have been stolen. But this time, he decided to take a different approach. Enrique explains that he had installed an alarm in his car, one directly linked to his cell phone. The moment Ciro broke in, Enrique remotely locked the doors, trapping him inside. The vehicle is not just soundproof and fully armored, but also impossible to unlock without Enrique's key. At that moment, reality hits Ciro. He is completely at the mercy of the doctor, and there is no way out. The glass is also polarized, making it impossible for anyone outside to see the trapped thief. Enrique, speaking calmly, shares a bit about his past. He grew up in a middle-class family, in a time when people left their doors open without fear. He then asks Ciro a simple but unsettling question. What would you do if you caught your own son stealing? Ciro, caught off guard, hesitates before replying, I don't know. Without another word, Enrique hangs up. Furious, Ciro begins to scream, threatening to kill Enrique the moment he gets out. But his threats mean nothing. Suddenly, the air conditioning turns on remotely, giving him a brief moment of relief from the suffocating heat. However, within minutes, the temperature drops drastically. Ciro scrambles to turn off the system, but the vehicle doesn't respond. The controls are completely out of his hands. Shivering, he puts his shirt back on and tries to warm himself up. With his wound still bleeding, he rips a piece of his pants to stop the bleeding and covers the air vents with paper and a floor mat, attempting to block the icy air. Hours pass. Just as his body is about to succumb to the freezing cold, the temperature slowly begins to rise again. The moment he regains some strength, his phone rings once more. Enrique asks the same question. What would you do if you caught your son stealing? Once again, Ciro, too weak to argue, says he doesn't know. This time, Enrique tells a disturbing story. Years ago, his daughter's home was broken into while she was parking in the garage. Two armed robbers stormed inside, stole everything they could, and still weren't satisfied. For 3 agonizing hours, they held a gun to the head of Enrique's 5-year-old grandson. The experience shattered his family. His daughter, fearing for their safety, eventually moved her family to Barcelona, seeking a better life, far from crime. As Enrique finishes his story, the call abruptly ends. Suddenly, a police car approaches. Ciro's heart races with hope. He's saved! With every ounce of strength left, he bangs on the windows, screaming for help. One of the officers gets out and inspects the vehicle, but the glass, completely tinted and soundproof, conceals Cairo from view. The officer only issues a parking ticket. Then, without a second glance, he drives away. Cairo watches as the rain begins to fall outside, taunting his desperate thirst. That afternoon, the phone rings yet again. Enrique, now more composed, asks for Ciro's full name and ID number. In return, he promises to give him water, the only thing that can keep him alive a little longer. Desperate, Ciro agrees. Following Enrique's instructions, he checks the wash hose in the back of the car where he finds a bottle of water. Without hesitation, he gulps it down, only to realize that the water is contaminated. His thirst is momentarily relieved, but now hunger takes over. With each passing hour, his body weakens. If this continues, Ciro won't just be trapped, he'll starve to death. The following morning, Ciro is still determined to break down the door, but his body is weak, and his wound has worsened. He finally accepts reality. He won't be able to escape on his own. Defeated, he admits to Enrique that he has developed a fever from accidentally shooting himself in the leg. In response, Enrique asks about the state of the wound and, in an unexpected act of mercy, turns on the heater to warm up the car. As they talk, the doctor reveals devastating news. He went to pick up his medical results that morning and discovered that his cancer has spread throughout his body. If everything goes according to plan, Enrique says calmly, I have about a year left to live. Ciro, already weak, faints upon hearing this. When he regains consciousness, panic sets in. He becomes convinced that he doesn't have much time left either. His hunger grows unbearable. Desperate, he does something unthinkable. He rips a sheet from a book inside the car and eats it. With dehydration also becoming a serious threat, Ciro starts collecting his own bodily fluids and re-drinking them, doing whatever it takes to survive. At this point, his greatest fear is not death itself, but the idea that his body might be discarded somewhere, leaving his family to wonder what happened to him. In a last-ditch effort to leave a mark, he begins writing messages inside the car, personalizing its interior as a way to let whoever finds him know he was there. That evening, another thief arrives, attempting to break into the same car. However, before he can even complete the robbery, two men appear and brutally beat him up. Cairo, watching from the inside, witnesses the violent scene unfold. The bystanders don't even give the new thief a chance. They beat him to a pulp before the police arrive and take him away. Now back to his own grim reality, Cairo considers eating the small insect that has been his only company over the past 2 days. His hunger is devouring him from the inside out, but at the last moment, as he stares at the fragile creature, he decides to let it live. Later, revealing a group of people surrounding the car, Cairo, exhausted and hopeless, looks outside in shock. People have finally noticed the vehicle. For a moment, he clings to hope, thinking that his nightmare might finally be over. But before he can react, the call from Enrique continues. The doctor, in a calm but chilling tone, tells Cairo, "This is the final test." Cairo, breathing heavily, asks what he means. Enrique continues, "You've spent your life taking from others. You had no regard for the pain you caused. Now let's see if someone is willing to save you." Cairo's eyes widen as he realizes the horrifying truth. Enrique has no intention of letting him go. The people outside continue their conversations, completely unaware that there's a man trapped inside. Cairo starts banging on the windows, screaming at the top of his lungs. But just like before, the car's polarized glass makes it impossible for anyone to see him. One of the passers-by notices something strange and approaches the car. But just as he does, Enrique remotely activates the vehicle's alarm. The sound is deafening. The man flinches and steps back, assuming it's just a malfunctioning car alarm. After a few seconds, he walks away. Cairo watches in pure horror. Tears stream down his face as he pounds the glass with everything he has left, but nobody hears him. As Enrique listens to Cairo's desperate cries, he calmly says, "Goodbye, Cairo. Your fate is no longer in my hands." Then he hangs up. Cairo, now completely broken, slumps back into the seat. Outside, life continues as if nothing is happening, and inside the car, a silent prisoner awaits his fate. Enrique orders him to look forward, revealing the kidnapper's real face. To minimize the odor inside, the doctor enters the car and sprays a scent to help Cairo relax. Enrique picks up the gun, smokes a cigarette, and places it in his mouth. The man cries out in pain as the doctor extracts the bullet from his leg. While answering a patient's call, Cairo seizes the opportunity, grabs the gun, and shoots the doctor before making his escape. However, Enrique is not fatally wounded and quickly pursues him. Just before Cairo can get away, a policewoman on patrol arrives and catches Enrique. He tries to justify his actions, claiming that he was punishing a car thief while also assisting law enforcement. But the police officer demands that he release the man and points a revolver at him. 2 hours later, the situation remains unchanged. Enrique tells Cairo that he seeks only one thing, justice, and refuses to let him go. Cairo, aware of the gathered journalists and onlookers, uses the moment to his advantage. He declares that the public should decide whether the doctor should execute the criminal or set him free, asking them for their opinion. When the police notice that public sentiment is in Enrique's favor, they call in Mario to mediate. Standing next to his car, Enrique holds a gun to Cairo's neck. At this point, Cairo has given up resisting. He is unconscious, watching as the man who trapped him determines his fate. The doctor finds it outrageous that a thief can break into his home, steal his car, and escape without consequence. The retired negotiator arrives and tells Enrique that he is there to help. Enrique insists that enforcing the law is the only way to protect society. Mario expresses sympathy for Enrique's anger, acknowledging the frustration of many citizens present. Mario warns Enrique that killing the thief won't change anything. There are countless criminals in the world. Taking this man's life will only ruin Enrique's own future. However, Enrique remains firm, stating that even if his actions don't change the world, at least he is trying. Otherwise, leaving the country, as his daughter did, would be the only option. Mario then tells Enrique that he has already made his point. Ciro has learned his lesson. He pleads with him to release the thief, but instead, Enrique turns to the crowd, asking how many of them have been robbed, despite having security systems and barred windows. Most of the onlookers raise their hands, capturing Enrique's attention. After discarding all weapons, Mario, with Enrique's permission, offers him some water. A policewoman approaches, hands Enrique a bottle, and walks away. Enrique kisses her hand in gratitude, takes a sip, then passes the bottle to Ciro, who is severely dehydrated. Mario steps forward once more, urging Enrique to let the man go. He shares that his wife has passed away and he has no children, few friends, and survives on a small pension. He has nothing to lose. In the end, he invites Enrique to visit him for a beer. At that moment, the doctor thinks of his daughter and realizes that she does not deserve to be remembered as the daughter of a man who killed a thief. He decides to release Ciro and gets into his car. This is not the legacy he wants to leave behind. The police arrest the culprit and handcuff him. However, the crowd is shocked that Enrique let the man go after holding him hostage for 5 hours. As the officers move in to arrest Enrique, he places a countdown device on the car's roof. Mario quickly realizes it is a bomb and orders the officers to retreat. Moments later, the car explodes and Enrique is burned alive. The onlookers are left stunned by how the bizarre ordeal unfolded. Meanwhile, Ciro exhales deeply, relieved to have survived the most terrifying heist of his life. So, how would you rate this film? If you have any thoughts, share them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for future movie recaps.